Independent candidates will, for the first time in South Africa, be able to contest for seats in the National Assembly. The IEC approved 5 national candidates and 6 seats in the provincial legislature. Yesterday, we spoke to one of them running for a national seat from the Western Cape, that's Zaki Ahmed. Today, we speak to another contender, former boxing champion Lovemore Ndou, who is from Limpopo, on his campaign as we build up to the 2024 elections. But he's joining us from Australia this morning. Lovemore, good morning. Thank you so much for making time for us. Tell us why you've decided to throw your name in the race, and also how long have you been living in Australia for?
My brother, I'm joining you from Polokwane.
Oh, is it Polokwane this morning? Okay, I thought you were joining us from from Australia. Welcome.
No, I've been back in the country for a while now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so how long have you been staying in Australia for before you moved back to South Africa?
I've been in Australia for 27 years. I lived in Australia for 27 years. So I left in 1996, just for 2 years after we had our first democratic elections.
Then why did you go to Australia?
Well, you know, for opportunities. I was looking for better opportunities. Look, although we had our first democratic elections, I always had my doubts based on the history that I've seen in Africa. I've seen some, countries, usually black people, Africans, we make great liberators, we make, great freedom fighters. But when it comes to running the country, you often run me down the drain. So I was concerned that could be the issue. I wanted to pursue better opportunities overseas and also to pursue my boxing career. And today I don't regret making that move because, Australia was great to me. It provided me with that opportunity, to go on and become a 3-time world boxing champion. But not just that, I was also able to educate myself. As you know, I hold 7 university degrees. I'm a lawyer. So, yeah, Australia has been great for me. It was just looking for opportunities.
So in 1996 already, are you saying that you already saw that black people can't govern?
Oh, yeah, I've seen, because I've always been into politics. I've always watched our African countries, you look at Zimbabwe, when Mugabe came into power, we were so happy, we thought, great thing was happening next door, something great will happen. And he started well, but eventually he just ran the country down the drain. And I expected the same to happen. And I was concerned that, as soon as Mandela stepped down, the country might just go down the drain. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, but where do you locate that inability to govern from? I doubt that it is because they are black, because you are black and here you are.
No. It's got nothing to do with color. It's got to do, with putting people in positions that are, they are not qualified for. Look, apartheid has got some, is partly to blame because the former racist regime did not prepare black people, to rule as soon as they take over. But we should also look at ourselves, we've had 30 years, of running our country, but in that 30 years, we have regressed. We haven't gone forward. We've gone, we're heading towards the wrong direction. So in that 30 years, we could have educated ourselves, we could have done more to improve. So sometimes it's just got to do, with putting the wrong people in positions they don't deserve. Yeah.
So what do you think may have led to that, putting wrong people in the positions that they don't deserve, considering also that you have policies such as a BEE in the country? Do you think that that could be the reason?
Well, BEE is the main cause of our problems. BEE is the trigger of an avalanche of corruption, and don't get me wrong, the idea behind it, was laudable, but then it just turned into this trigger of an avalanche of corruption. The way I look at BEE, and often when I say this, I've been accused of being out of touch. BEE, as far as I'm concerned, is creating another form of apartheid. And I'll explain why I say that, because if you look at apartheid, if you look at its broader, definition. Often black people, I think, we are made to believe that, apartheid is just about white people doing wrong things to black people. No, you got to look at it at a broader spectrum. As far as I'm concerned, if you thwart someone from excelling, because of their skin color, their gender, their sexual, orientation, or their political affiliation or religious affiliation, that's a form of apartheid. It doesn't have to be written it doesn't have to be written in legislation to exist. So if you put a policy in place that is only going to benefit a few, benefit the elites, benefit only those who are associated with the ruling party, that's a form of apartheid. So we've got a policy here, BEE, that's only benefiting the elite, about 5% of the population, while 95%, is struggling. That's another form of apartheid.
Let me read the preamble of the Constitution for you quickly, and I'd like to hear your interpretation of it. So the preamble of the Constitution says that we, the people of South Africa, recognize the injustices of the past. It goes on to say, we therefore, through our freely elected representatives, adopt the Constitution as the supreme law of the Republic, heal the divisions of the past, establish a society based on democratic values, social justice, and fundamental human rights. Do you believe that the BEE does not speak to how do we equalize the playing field considering the injustices of the past?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
What I'm saying, and I'll repeat myself, the idea behind BEE is laudable, but then it's going to create, a trigger of an avalanche of corruption, so.
Sure, but you characterize, sorry, Lovemore, you characterize it as a form of apartheid. So that's the reason why I was making reference to the preamble of the Constitution, speaking about recognizing the injustices of the past. So how do you fix the injustices of the past that speaks to inequality that has played out while not having policy in place?
Yes, again, I agree with what you're saying. The policy was put in place, to try and redress the past injustices, but it hasn't done that. So I think if something is not working, you have to replace it. You have to replace BEE with a policy that will allow broader participation by in the economy by all people of South Africa. So, but that's not what BEE is doing. And I've got an issue with that, and I'm saying because of that, it's creating another form of segregation, which one could also look at as some form of apartheid.
Yeah. How then, from your position, and I understand that you're also working on establishing a political party that will be contesting the 2029 elections, but right now where you stand, what would you say should be done to deal, for instance, with the inequality in South Africa? And unfortunately, our inequality in this country also has a color. So it is also race-based.
Yes. Look, the first thing, again, like I said, we need to get rid of, replace BEE with a better policy. And that's the only way we're going to get rid of corruption. BEE is actually keeping away potential investors from South Africa. If we put a policy that will allow, and in fact, we need a policy, we need to get rid of the over-regulations. That's the only way we're going to get potential international investors to come back to South Africa and invest, and thereby creating jobs for people. And once you create jobs for people, you also reduce crime. Because a lot of crime in South Africa, has got to do with, lack of jobs. People are just suffering. People are hungry. People will do anything to survive.
Yeah. Lovemore, in conclusion, another part that makes these elections historical is not only that independent candidates will be contesting, but I guess on your part as well, is that you have an independent candidate that will be contesting both the national as well as the provincial ballot. Should you garner enough votes to secure a seat, whether in the Limpopo legislature or in the National Assembly, which one will you choose? Because you have to choose one.
I want to secure a seat in the National Assembly. Then I'll be in a position, to scrutinize and judge, the activities, policies, and legislation of the government. Okay. I'll be able to operate, as the voice of the voiceless, and act as a check on the power, of the government of the day. You know, I'll be in a position to decide matters of national interest while also serving, you know, my province.
Yeah. Does it
so
mean that
I'm aiming to secure a seat in the National Assembly.
Does it mean that in case there is a hung parliament and no outright winner, that Lovemore would be available to position himself as a potential presidential candidate?
You got that right, my brother. But look, you know, for me, it's not about becoming a president. You know, I'm coming into politics because, you know, I want change in South Africa. I'm concerned about the current situation in South Africa. Our country is, you know, is on the brink of collapse, and if we don't do something about it now, eventually we're going to reach a point of no return, like what's happening in Zimbabwe. So, you know, for me, going into politics is a profound decision I made based on the need for change. Nothing else. A change. I want to see people, you know, I want to see our people have jobs they don't have to pay bribes to secure. I want to see our children that, you know, have the right grades, you know, to go to university, to be, you know, given that opportunity to go to university and secure jobs in the future.
Okay, good luck. And maybe you'll be boxing your way through as well. Lovemore. Thank you so much for making time for us. There is a former boxing champion there, Lovemore Ndou, from Limpopo. And, of course, he's campaigning for a seat in the provincial legislature as well as in the National Assembly. But according to the rules, he will have to choose one in case he does meet the minimum thresholds of both legislatures.